She makes her bid for a little piece of history.
Hello and welcome to the Run of the Race. I'm Brittany Taylor, joined by Mark Warwood to review all the racing that happened on Saturday afternoon, the Twilight meeting, which of course was highlighted by the performance of Misty Medal, Mark.
She was an absolute sensation on Saturday. I thought she was opposable in the Miss Andretti Stakes. I thought that the map was a little bit tricky for her. They'd go a lot harder than that he did in the Summer Scorcher. He did both of those things and she still got the job done. It was really, really good performance. She is definitely up to that level.
She's just raising the bar. Now talk that she could head to Adelaide for a race like the Sangster. When we look at her a little bit later in the program, we'll have a look at the figures of the past winners of the Sangster and see how her number measures up. But for now, let's start at the very beginning. And it was the maiden, a win by no mean feat for some very, very patient connections.
Mum's the one. Out in front, it's Moon to Miss. Leads by one. In second place, No Mean Feat. McGruddy is just bustling away from the inside and pushing Friars Classic out three wide. He's got a tendency to hang. Family Discussion just off them. Ridden very hard is Wild Gust trying to pick up. I Hell is over on the inside. True Image taken out wide. And Just Too Hot is very wide in the straight though. No Mean Feat accelerated. Top of the straight, bounded clear. Led by 1 3/4. Family Discussion. Wild Gust is getting through. And then came Dream Alliance starting to run home well, but it's all No Mean Feats, a class above them. Family Discussion will hold down second. Late on the scene, Good Fortune is running home well, but an easy win.
A 7-year-old finally breaking his maiden. Usually, Mark, we expect to see these maidens be the worst performing race of the day. This wasn't the case.
Certainly wasn't, but I think this horse is a little bit better than your average maiden. That is No Mean Feat. Clearly has had feet issues. That's why they named the horse as such. It's only had half as in starts as a 7-year-old, but was well supported. I think it was about $6 in early market. She didn't get $6 on Saturday afternoon and just pretty much made every poster winner here. It was a really authoritative performance. You would expect would go on and win again. That's the follow horse, No Mean Feat. The forget horse, Moon to Miss, finished last in the race. No real excuses as well. Did lead. They didn't go overly hard. It was an even tempo. And the forgive horse, I think his mum's the one here. Dwelt lost quite a lot of ground at the start. Came home with some pretty good sectionals. Fastest last 2 and 6 and 800 metres. I think mum's the one could certainly improve.
All right, No Mean Feat, the follow horse there for Mark, getting a figure, an overall figure of -2.3, which certainly is not the worst we'll see when we're looking through this review today. Now, let's have a look at the second. If you've backed Lace Vinsky, look away now because he looked home for all money, but Fairview was rocketing home.
Approach the inside of Henty Girl, followed by Carhelan, and the last two, Fairview outside of Liberty Magic as they come up to the turn. Lace Vinsky, the $2.60 favourite, leads a half. On the outside is Final Hearing. Kiss the Breeze, ridden very hard in the centre. Finger Mark the inside, Kakadu out wider, and then came Carhelan getting to the outside. Henty Girl badly held up. Fairview swings wide, approached the inside, but Lace Vinsky bounded clear at the 200, shot about 3 lengths in front. Finger Mark on the inside, and then came Final Hearing. Further back, Kiss the Breeze. Down the outside is Fairview. Lace Vinsky, though, is nicely clear. Fairview's absolutely rocketing late. Lace Vinsky walking. Fairview got it right on the...
Well, Mark, Lace Vinsky led there. Pretty even tempo. We saw there with the data, 1.7 lengths above benchmark. So had every right to kick, but Fairview was able to get over the top.
Yeah, look, I'm willing to forgive Lace Vinsky here. I think it was probably just a little bit too far looking at the sectionals, not only out of this race, but other races as well. I think Lace Vinsky needs to get back to 1,000 metres. So the forgive horse for mine. The forget horse, there was a few in this race. I'm going to go with Final Hearing, finished third. The reason I'm putting it in the forget file is simply it's Cerise and White and probably go around 2 short. I added on top on Saturday, but that was a pretty disappointing performance to finish third in that grade. I think the follow horse clearly has to be Fairview here. You're looking at the sectionals here. To the 600, Fairview was 10th, and the horses that finished second, third, fourth and fifth were first, second, third and fourth. That tells you everything you need to know about the tempo of this race. Fairview did really, really well to win from where she was.
Yeah, she certainly did. That big stride is going to see her win plenty of races, you would imagine. Let's have a look at race number 3. It was won by Let's Twist, and this number here was the best of this preparation.
Royal Statue getting up on the inside of Chasing Chaos, and back of the tail is Witnessing Court. Before the bend, Warjourn just in front. Let's Twist is putting the acid test to it now. Discoville drove through in the middle. Lord Cronus the inside. Bella's Idol is struggling. Winorg taken wide. Royal Statue, ridden for luck, goes through on the inside, and then Chasing Chaos and Witnessing Court in the straight. Warjourn's got the lead. Favourite in a bit of traffic, gets up on the inside. Let's Twist running second. Royal Statue back to the inside, finishing it off. In front, Warjourn from Let's Twist. Royal Statue coming through along the inside. Let's Twist hit the front. Royal Statue flashes late, but we've got a boil over. Let's Twist has just won.
Let's Twist recording a figure of -2.8 there. In past preparations, we've seen that figure be even better, more over the 1800 and beyond. So you'd think that the further she gets, the better she's going to get.
Yeah, I was surprised she won on Saturday. I thought this was a moral of all time in Royal Statue. But Let's Twist was the obvious danger, I suppose. And I agree with you. I think her best figures have been over further. So for her winning over 1600 metres a couple of times this preparation augurs well. And I think she probably is the follow horse, although I probably don't want to go to war with too many of these. The Forget horse, I think it has to be Royal Statue. I know he was unlucky and he probably should have won the race and so on and so forth. But when you get beat at $1.35 out to $1.55, you've simply got to go in the Forget file. And the Forgive horse has to be chasing Chaos. Threw its head up at the start, lost quite a lot of ground, and it threw the speed map all up in the air. This horse I was expecting to lead, ended up with Warjeune, the other one from the Steve Wolf yard, going to the front. Maybe if Chasing Chaos had led, it might have been a bit more tempo and it would have got Royal Statue home. But woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah, that's right. It all changed straight out of the barriers for that race. All right, let's have a look at race number 4. Crystal Valley finally has been just so luckless all campaign, was finally able to find the winner's circle.
Bonsignor's trying to follow it home. Vignetto's out wider from Driving Me Wild. And last of all is Hey Magic coming up towards the bend. They got 450 to go. High Energy leads a half. On the outside is Awesome As. Watch Me Nene comes out 3 wide. Deep out is Upward Others. Ridden very hard is Aura Breeze. Held up Sentimental Friend and Magical Charm trying to get to the outside. In the straight, High Energy. Awesome As on the outside. Crystal Valley. Upward Others joined it as well. Magical Charm trying to get clear. Crystal Valley in front. Upward Others on the outside. It's Crystal Valley in front of Upward Others. And Jordan Turner gets it home. Crystal Valley has won.
Now, taking nothing away from Crystal Valley's win, but in terms of the numbers, this was the worst performing race of the day. A figure of positive 10.6. That's 10.6 lengths above benchmark speed. So in terms of punting form, ranking the whole meeting from top to bottom, your best performance to the worst performance, the 13 runners out of this race all ranked at the very bottom.
Yeah, there was no speed whatsoever. I thought that Aura Breeze might take it up, or Vignetto. Aura Breeze settled 4th, Vignetto settled 10th, so there was just no speed whatsoever. They ran about 2.5 seconds slower than they probably should have done to the 600 metres. Looking at the file here, the Forgive horse, I think, I don't really want to forgive any of these, but I'll forgive Magical Charm. It was bumped on jump in there, came back with abrasions to his face as well, was the fastest last 200 metres of the race. The Forget has to be Sentimental Friend now, officially in the sack file, because he's Cerise and White, he goes around too short and he's just been too disappointing. Finished 6th in this race. The follow horse, I think probably has to be Crystal Valley, and I like the ride of Jordan Turner on Saturday. He took a look at the equation, came 3 or 4 wide round the turn. She has got a turn of foot, and I was pretty keen on her up in trip. She's got the same bloodlines as Dude Manbro, who stays all day long. So that turn of foot and the staying ranks in Perth at the moment, I think she can probably find another 2200 metre race where she can put it to bed.
I agree, and Colin Webster mentioned that relation in the post-race and said that they'd probably be looking at a staying trip. He doesn't think that would be any concern whatsoever going forward. But probably not one of those races when we talk about good form races, bad form races. It's probably not a form race, so to speak, going forward. That is a look at the first half of the meeting. We'll take a quick break and on the other side, be back with the back half.
At TabTouch, our bettering department comes up with new ways to better your betting experience, like putting better features at your fingertips, such as Sky Racing and Superpick. But if you think we're just doing what every other betting company does, think again. Because we're also giving a portion of every bet to fund a better racing industry and betting your local. So better your bet with TabTouch.
Don't let the game play you. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
Welcome back to the run of the race, where we are looking at Saturday's meeting in review, and we are up to race number 5 and the win of Western King.
Songed Vincent. Mongolian Warlord is over on the inside of Friar and Ice at the 550, and then Western King and Lawfee. They start to up tempo before the turn. It's Strato Creed in front, leading by 1. It looks to be going okay. Avitus on the outside is trying hard to pick it up on the bend. Taken out 3 wide, Song of Vincent. Rising Sea the inside, no run Mongolian Warlord. Friar and Ice to the outside, and Western King unwinding as well. Strato Creed just in front. Avitus on the outside trying to cut it down, then Rising Sea, Friar and Ice and Western King late. Strato Creed, Avitus, Western King is descending though. Western King, Friar and Ice tries to go with it, but it's Western King and Pike's done it.
Now, they did go relatively quick in this race, Mark, minus 4.3, so they were hooking along a little bit, and it just sort of allowed it for Western King just to run over the top.
Yeah, he came home with the best sectionals all the way home. It did set up quite nicely for Western King. I'm going to forgive here Strato Creed. I don't really want to forgive or follow too many out of this race, but he did lead them up here at minus 4.3, as you mentioned, with an apprentice in the saddle. Didn't find too much in the straight, but given how fast they went early on, that's understandable. The Forget horse is Song of Vincent for mine, finished last in this race, was beaten 9.5 lengths. Just simply put a pen through this horse from here on in. And the follow horse, rather reluctantly, I will make it Western King because it ran a reasonable rating here and it did set up quite nicely. But I think the format of it's not going to be too strong. We've had Rise and Sea in the Forget file a few times. I think Avidus is probably this level. Friar and Ice, I just couldn't believe the price on Saturday. Should have had another 0 on it, but did finish second in the race.
All right, well, from one race that you weren't overly excited about to one I think you will be, and that is the performance of Misty Metal in the Miss Andretti.
Doing the bullocking work. 2.5 First Among Equals, who's starting to glide into the race on the inside. The Celt ridden up in 5th place, trying to pick up ground but push wider as First Among Equals came away from the inside. 2 to Prophet Street and tailed off as Denim Pack coming around the turn. It's still the Grey Belter leading 3/4. Misty Metal going up, and then G-Boss just off them. Just at Natural to the outside. The Celt held up First Among Equals, then Prophet Street. Misty Metal has raced up and taken the lead, drawn clear and exploded away from them. From Belter, the Celt, Prophet Street, but it's all Misty Metal, and she's done it again. Misty Metal raced home to win by 2.25.
Misty Metal recorded an overall figure of minus 10.2, but I think the interesting thing here, Mark, is that so often we talk about speed in races in that if a horse goes quick, it sets it up for the back markers. And in this case, it wasn't that. They've gone quick. The leader's going nearly 7 lengths quicker than benchmark in Belter, but they're the 2 horses that have finished 1 and 2 in Misty Metal and Belter. But I think the reason why is because they can do that. That is their greatest asset, their high cruising speed. It just got the rest of them off the bit.
She was sensational on Saturday. I wouldn't say she proved me wrong, but there was a few queries and the jury was certainly out as to whether Misty Metal would be able to back up what she did in the Scorcher. They went fairly slow in the Scorcher, plus 2.7 to the 600. Belter went minus 6.9 to the 600 in the Miss Andretti Stakes. That is significantly faster, and she just kept going. She wasn't as explosive as she was 2 weeks prior, but she was more than good enough, and her PB, well, it was a PB performance on Saturday by about 3 lengths. She clearly is the follow horse here. She is really, really good. Something that's not really good is G-Boss. I'm officially sacking him. Maybe back at 1,000 I could give him one more try, but that's 2 disappointing runs in a row. I think he struggles in this grade, and I will forgive Belter because they went very, very quick here and he kept going and he ran a very good figure, and if it wasn't for Misty Metal, he would have won the race.
Yeah, it was a very good performance by Belter, actually. In fact, when we look at the figures coming out of this race, obviously that speed has set up those big numbers, but now we're talking about Misty Metal heading to Adelaide and just having a look how she would measure up in a race like the Sangster. When we look at the last 3 winners, 2018 Scholes won with a minus 9.3. So Misty Metal's 10.2 would beat that figure. In 2017, Secret Agenda recorded a minus 13.7, and 2016 Precious Gem a minus 12.7. So she will have to raise the bar if a Sangster is ran like the previous 2 editions.
You know, we compare her maybe with a Dainty Test. Dainty Test has got figures around minus 10 over these type of figures. So she's running those type of numbers, and of course we saw Dainty Test go to Adelaide, win the Irwin at Group 3 level, and then was a little bit disappointed, but she was certainly very good first up.
All right, from one mare to another, let's have a look at Fontainebleau taking out the 7th.
So they come up before the turn. They got 5.50 to go. Sprinting hard, Fontainebleau just got away from My Fair Beauty. Double digit to the outside. A Miracle Man. He's tracking up very nicely. Taxigano the inside. Then Showcase, Fathoms of Gold. Ravelli ridden hard from Prying Time. And Maserati dropped right off. Here's Miracle Man coming after Double Digit and Fontainebleau. Taxigano back nearer the inside. Showcase is starting to put in, but it's still Fontainebleau with the lead from Double Digit. Taxigano coming through. Miracle Man just grinding home. Ravelli makes ground, but it's still Fontainebleau in front. Doing it well from Taxigano and Double Digit and Fontainebleau.
Now, we spoke about Misty Metal using her greatest asset, and I think that's exactly what we saw here with Fontainebleau, in that Glenn Smith used her greatest asset in her staying ability.
Yeah, I think he owed punters that backed Fontainebleau in the Latrice though, because the tactics that day were incorrect. You look at the sectional times, they went too slow for Fontainebleau, and it set up really, really well for Celebrity Dream. I still don't think Celebrity Dream stays the 9 furlongs, but on Saturday, Fontainebleau went about 4 or 5 lengths faster than it had done in the Latrice, and it was all over really, barring the shout in. I don't really want to follow her out of this race. I think the follow horse might be Taxagano. I want to see this horse back at a mile. I don't think there's been possibly suitable races for him, but he over-raced again over this 1800 metre trip. He finished second. There is a race in Taxagano. He's so honest. The Forget horse, well, there could have been a few here. Reveille's probably run out of chances with most punters. Double Digit, I think, has probably gone high and up in the ratings. Showcase, not really sure where we're at with her. But look, I'll put a pen through Miracle Man here. All of his wins have been low rating according to punting form, and this was another pretty disappointing run. And the Forgive horse, I'm willing to forgive Prime Time. I think they probably need to pull up stumps with this horse. That run in the Kingston Town Classic, if he'd reproduced that on Saturday, he would have won, but he hasn't really done that. He was a little bit unlucky in the Perth Cup, but he was pretty ordinary on Saturday. I just think he's probably had dead set enough.
All right, there's Mark's Forget, Forgive and Follow out of the race, won by Fontainebleau, although she doesn't make any of those files. Let's have a look at the lucky last, and it was won by Alpha Sky.
Over racing, 1 1/4 away is Vital Blast, going up out 3 wide, and then Double Jeopardy in the middle. Over on the inside is Dutch Spy, followed by Star Glitter, and then came Prairie Whisper. Mickey Moto's about to get to the outside, only 3.5 off them now, tracks into it. Then Tycoon Legend, well back 3 Secrets, and then Resistance, and last of all on the inside, Slick Sam at the 250. Misty Lad headed by Alpha Sky, Vital Blast. Here's Star Glitter, and now Mickey Moto is coming down the outside. Alpha Sky's got the front though from Vital Blast, Mickey Moto, Resistance, 3 Secrets fly late, but Alpha Sky's in front, and Alpha Sky as well.
A nice win there by Alpha Sky, recording a figure of -3.5. It was always going to be a race with a lot of intrigue. All eyes were on Mickey Moto for her return to racing, but the eye catcher, I thought, 3 Secrets.
I think this will be a good form race. The Forgive horse, there could have been a few here. Double Jeopardy was lame, and so you probably can forgive that one, but I'm going to forgive Mickey Moto as far as the file's concerned. Just a horrible gate. She finished 4th. That was her first run back for 400 and something days. She'll be winning soon, you would think. The Forget horse, Misty Lad, 20 to 1, was on speed, didn't give too much of a yelp. I just think it's a little bit too hard for Misty Lad. Follow horse, 3 Secrets. What a run this was first up. Really good sectionals late, fastest last 200 and 400 as well. This horse I thought was a little bit disappointing last campaign, but he appears to be back on track and there seems to be wins in him.
I agree, and the thing that I like, first up from a wide gate, they didn't push the question, jumped on terms, they could have gone forward, but they've given it a nice run back, it's hit the line. When it draws a gate next start, I think you can be on for all money. All right, let's have a look at the overall meeting, and there's no surprises here. Misty Medal is the star of the show.
Yeah, Miss Andretti Stakes Day was all about Misty Medal. Best overall rating of -10.2. That is certainly group standard, and best class rating as well. Sensational performance. She did it at both ends, and she proved the doubters like me very wrong. Really good job. Fastest sectionals of the day, last 200, 3 Secrets, also the last 400 and last 600, Profit Street. They've just got to find the right race for Profit Street. I'm not convinced it's over 1100 metres, probably needs to be 13 or 1400 metres. There is a race in him, you would think, but he just gets too far back.
Honestly, how many times have we done this review, and last 600, it's always Profit Street. He always figures in those final closing sectionals, but just getting too far back. All right, that is the end of the review. When we come back on the other side of this break, it is the tipping competition. We've reset the numbers, and this is round number 1.
Think all betting companies hold their profits? Not Tab Touch. Not only do we give you a better betting experience on your mic, but out here, a portion of every bet funds a better racing industry. Helps better your race club. Come on! Oh! And helps better local sport. Hey guys! So better your bet with Tab Touch. Don't let the game play you. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
Welcome back to the run of the race, where it is time to look at the tipping competition. And Mark, we've reset. This is a new round here. We had the competition over spring, but now this is the summer and autumn challenge.
Yeah, it's got a really catchy name, Summer and Autumn. Wow, the marketing genius that I am has come up with a really fantastic name, but it is a competition nonetheless. It will run for 19 rounds, so all of the Saturdays until Roma Cup and a couple of the midweek days as well, including Good Friday and Anzac Day. Looking at the results from Saturday, you needed 7 of the 8 winners in order to get the best possible score, but in race number 1, Good Fortune, $23.30 the place. You needed your big bet on the Casey horse, Fairview. It paid 21 the win and $4.90 the place.
And that is exactly what Adam Page did, our winner for this week. Let's have a look what he selected, and sure enough, he had Fairview as his best bet of the day.
And just goes to show that people are interested in Perth racing far away from Perth. This Adam is based in New South Wales, so congratulations, Adam. Thanks for your interest in the racing here in the West. You had Fairview, of course. You had 5 winners on the day: Crystal Valley, Western King, Misty Meadow and Fontainebleau. Really good performance there, 1,767 points, and you lead the first round by about 250 points.
A super effort by Adam, and if you have been a little bit slow out of the gates, you didn't necessarily get your tips in for this round, or perhaps you just tipped woefully on the weekend, it's good. We've got the reset. 1,767, it's not too much to make up, so you need to get your tips in for this weekend. And when we look forward to this weekend, it's Australia Day, and I can't remember having a Saturday Ascot meeting on Australia Day for a little while. Hasn't fallen on a Saturday.
Now, I've been here 3 years. It's the first one, certainly in my time here. First race will be at 12:44. We have an 8 race card, no group races. Next week we've got Scenic Blast Stakes Day, and Scenic Blast will be parading on the track before the race named in his honour. And of course on Australia Day we've got the Australia Day Silk, so hopefully the top weights in each of the 8 races will be wearing those blue, white and red colours.
Oh, that will be wonderful to see those Australia Day Silks. Hopefully a few top weights are able to get home so that we can see those cross the finish line. Hopefully we see you out at the track on Saturday. If not, we'll see you next week.
He makes her bid for